Hello you beautiful people, welcome back to another Hiker Plays video. Today we are on Epic 7 and it's time to look at my Wyvern 13 one-shot team. So, let's go straight into battle. We'll go into hunts and we will go into Wyvern 13. This is the Wyvern 13 team. So we do have Sinful Angelica, we have Seaside Bellona, Karen and Sigret. Sigret could easily be replaced with characters like Rem. Arya could be used for Seaside Bellona, and you could always have replacements for things like Karen with another good defense breaker. But since we don't have Rem, we're not going to use the Ken variation, so you could use Ken, Rem, etc. I would go check a video on that if you are interested in that build. But I will show you how this one runs. Now, this does have I think it's like near 90% clear rate. Of course, there is always a chance for things to fail. Just because of the way RNG works in this game, you're not always guaranteed the debuffs. But this will show you how to clear Wyvern in one shot. So you can see Bellona's going to clear the first wave. Nice and easy. And then second wave, we're going to have Sinful die. That is perfectly fine. Karen will land a defense down. And then the team should, and under normal circumstances, should just one-shot this. So you can see Karen is built with quite a bit of damage. And that is one shot. Once you've got 5 debuffs on, Wyvern's pretty much gone. So there we are. That is the one shot. You can see it's relatively quick. It's a pretty simple, like, minute clear. And, you know, is relatively reliable. Typically in about 20 clears, I get about 2, if not 3 failures based on RNG. So if you want to be able to build a team like this, I can show you the heroes you need. So let's start with Sinful Angelica. So she is the least important out of the lot of this, but effectively what you want is some effect resistance. Something in the region of 200 is perfect. You want her at about 190 speed. You want her to be 10 speed or more faster than your Bellona. So, you know, 190 works pretty well for me. In terms of artifacts, I do love the super duper water gun shooter. And that's because it does boost attack and effectiveness for all my allies. So very, very useful. And I also have the attack imprint working on, you know, the 2 slots. In theory, we should be able to upgrade this a little bit more down the line. So they'll have even more attack and the run will just be that much more cleaner. But this is the gear. Again, there's nothing special. The only things that really matter, I don't even have health on her. The only things that really matter is speed and effect resistance. That's kind of it. Everything else is not important, which is why her gears are nothing special. And yeah, the artifact she's holding. We also do have, you know, a bit more speed here, so I do recommend going to go get the exclusive equipment. It's an easy speed. That's all it's there for. That's it. Right, now, the slightly harder character to gear. When I say slightly harder, this is arguably one of the harder characters to gear anyway. It is Seaside Bellona. Now, I have her on otherworldly machinery. You can have her on different artifacts, but this one works probably the best in reality. Her stat line is this. Now, this is the stat line you need in order to clear that first wave. You do need about 4,600 attack. You do need crit damage. About, you know, 270 is typically enough. And you want her speed to be, as I said, above about 170 and below 180. That way you have that 10 speed variance and you can, you know, damage the first wave. You also do want her on a bit of effectiveness. That's something we couldn't achieve. 27 is where she's at. Again, if you can hit this stat line with a bit more effectiveness, great. If you can get a bit more crit damage, also great. So pretty much if you do more crit damage, more effectiveness, your run's going to look just a little bit smoother than mine. But this is sort of the stat line you want to hit, and sort of every one of these stats are important. You do need the attack, you do need the crit, you do need the crit rate. I can get away with 72% crit, and that's because I do have other artifacts that are boosting crit down, like, and you'll see it down the line. Super, super important that you do get the exclusive equipment, and you need the S2 one, so increased damage dealt by You're Not Cute by 10%. Really, really helps clearing that first wave. And as you can see, my sets are sort of a mismatch. I've got 3 pieces from the beginner set, so a lot of you guys that are going to be sitting there going, well, I've only got the beginner set. You can do it with the beginner set. So I was quite lucky with some of the rolls, and typically they've not rolled anything insane, but like they look pretty standard, right? No, there's nothing insane. And then I have also made a couple of gears with some of the bits that I have. So something like this is just picked up, made, and it was just a really good piece. There is no set to some of this, so it is what it is. Boys, that is Bellona's gear. Now, Karin, she was actually a pain to gear because you do need her on damage. So, Karin needs to crit. If she doesn't crit, she doesn't land, she can't do the second attack. So, with Karin, she is on 90% crit chance, has pretty decent crit damage. This is unfortunately all I could do, but the most important thing for Karin is that effectiveness. She needs to be on above 75. I mean, 100 plus is even better. Right now, that is my stat line for her. You want her to be slower than Bologna. So about 160 is pretty ideal. She's on 158, which is fine. And her attack is 380. Now, if we could make this slightly more, I would, but unfortunately this is the best I can do. Her exclusive equipment is on her S3, which just inflicts the extra bleeds. Really, really useful because any extra bleeds we can get means Cigarette's going to hit that much harder. So super good, and she does get the effectiveness from there. And we are running her on the Warhorn. Again, that's because it's going to boost allies, attack, and, you know, and then every few rounds increase combat readiness. Not that we use that. It is literally for the attack boost, the 8%. Super nice. And we've got the crit hit chance boost on the top. So again, this is where Bologna's getting her crit. This is where Cigarette's getting some crit. Super, super good. Now, the last one, and probably the easiest one to gear out of a lot of them, is actually Cigarette. And I know this is going to sound stupid because you guys are going to be like, how is Cigarette the easiest to gear when you've got her on 5,300 attack? She really is, honestly. Like, it's not too hard when you don't have to worry about a lot of things. So, she's on Daydream Joker. Of course she is. And she's on her S2 exclusive equipment. It is only 10% attack. That could have been higher. And yeah, you just want it because, again, chance of bleeds by 20%, super, super good. We have made sure that the attack is personal, so her imprints on herself. If you might not have imprints, and that's not a problem. In order to hit that attack, we did go with an attack set. Again, if you look at it, most of the pieces are either from the arena or from the, you know, the first set that you give. I got very lucky with the 30% attack roll there and, you know, some pretty good critical hit damage here. But all in all, this set isn't like super, super amazing. Some of the pieces that I was able to farm from Wyvern were able to upgrade this a little bit further. And yeah, I was able to get this from doing some Labyrinth. But all in all, we were able to hit 5,300, and that is probably the big number you want to hit. You want to hit about 5k, and you want about 300 plus critical hit damage here. You want to make sure her crit rate's at least 65, and her speed just needs to be nice and low so that, you know, she goes last. In terms of effectiveness, if we can get effectiveness up a little bit, it does help, but it is fine if you don't have it. Guys, this is the stats, so that's all 4 characters shown. That is how I one-shot Wyvern. Let me know if you find this useful, and if you do, we may look to make some more in the future. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.